As the team leader for Year 5 and 6 of St Andrews Green Valley, my responsibilities include, but are not limited to, listening and responding to concerns and suggestions raised by staff members, students and parents, identifying areas of strength in my team and areas for possible development, facilitating meetings, providing opportunities for collaboration, and helping to implement changes of practice within my team and provide feedback on initiatives to the primary leadership team. When talking informally with my team, teachers had expressed concerns about their ability to teach the visual arts curriculum successfully and stated that they were not confident in the delivery and planning of art lessons. 2 members of my team identified art as an area for support for peer development projects and chose visual arts development as a personal target for this year. This is quite unusual as both teachers are highly experienced, one with an art history background and one as a former art and design teacher. This led me to question why my team were now struggling with teaching something that they had been confident with before. Other informal conversations with my team as to the way students' work was now displayed, the lack of visible student artwork in the corridors and classrooms were also things that were raised in discussion with my team that required further investigation. Furthermore, knowledge that art was often the first subject dropped by teachers during busy periods also made me question the messages we were sending to students about the value of the visual arts curriculum and the effects these combined issues were having on student learning. To ensure collaborators stay focused and feel invested in change projects, members must understand and agree with the team's mission, vision for achieving the mission, and the planned method to achieve these goals. During this initial stage of the project, I displayed the visionary leader attributes identified by Perkins in order to foster the belief that we were all working towards a common goal and provide a broad direction for our collaboration. During the implementation stages of the project, I provided an agenda with scope for finding direction and increasing the motivation of the team to collaborate. This fits with the inquiry-centred archetype of leadership. Through careful investigation of the problems raised, the team were motivated because they were driving the ideas and felt their contributions were valued. We followed the disciplined collaboration model and started analysing a variety of sources of data to help extend our understanding of the issues involved. We looked at student work, analysed different stakeholder perspectives using the Circle of Viewpoints thinking routine, critically examined the British National Curriculum Art Guidance, and further developed our understanding of the PYP scope and sequence for arts. A survey was then sent to students and teachers based on some of the concerns raised by the previous data analysis. This data was then also analysed by the team. The analysis led to progressive dialogue between teachers and raised a number of shared issues and areas for development that had not been considered in previous discussions. Through careful analysis of the data collected during this implementation stage, we identified that what we felt were the root causes of the problems and used this information to set personal goals and create an action plan. As a team, we looked specifically at outcomes we wanted to see as a phase group and then followed a logic model to help work out which steps needed to be taken in order to achieve our aims. During the following innovation stage, teachers were encouraged to follow areas of personal interest in relation to their own professional development needs. This was done in order to increase focus on the project and improve progress towards team goals. During this stage of the project, I displayed the leadership by leaving alone archetype and encouraged teachers to explore their own areas for personal development before asking them to summarise what they had been working on in follow-up meetings. To create a list of core skills experiences needed by Year 5 and 6 students. We tracked the art focus, mediums, techniques used across year groups to ensure balance and breadth of study and skills. We worked with partner teachers, art specialists to create mid-term plans and develop trips. We asked the head of primary, who is also an artist, and the PYP coordinator, who is a designer, and the STEAM coordinator to assist with ideas and support for lessons and planning of curriculum. We raised awareness of the importance of art and spatial learning and STEAM to teachers. We worked with students to develop a growth mindset towards art and worked with a marketing coordinator to view displays around the school and develop our own understanding of what made a good display. We then set to work on making our own displays better and including students in the process. Progress against goals were measured in regular meetings using the root cause analysis and a traffic light system to show what had been completed, needed work on, or had yet to be started. The final phase of this project examined the impact of the project. This was measured through observation of changes to displays, individual interviews with students and teachers, and an exit survey to measure changes in student and teacher attitude towards the visual arts. Success against the identified outcomes in the root cause document was also measured and reflected on. Other key members of staff were also asked to give feedback on any changes they had witnessed during the project. As the project leader, I provided regular opportunities to meet and monitor progress towards the team's goals, assisting teachers to stay on target with timely reminders and creating opportunities to celebrate short-term wins by praising individual and collective targets that were met. I had to also take an active role promoting and contributing to talk among teachers and demonstrate my own willingness to adapt practices and lead by example. By staying focused on the agenda of meetings, refocusing team members when needed, and by not climbing the ladder of influence during discussions, meetings were productive and there was a minimum amount of disruption in meeting times, whilst increasing collaboration with the team members. By making thinking and reasoning more explicit and basing decisions on observable data while steering clear of making assumptions, collaboration increased. If disagreements occurred, we examined reasons behind it through advocacy and inquiry. During the course of this project, there was only one incident where a member of my team was reactive, negative and openly challenging the timeframe of the project, insisting that the change was happening too slowly and should be sped up. I'd envisioned that this scenario might happen and had a response ready for the conversation. I explained how important it was not to jump to conclusions and act without thinking through all possible outcomes, how important it was to make sure all voices were heard, and to ensure that we had a full understanding of the whole picture before instigating change. It is my recommendation that this project should be continued throughout the school year with Year 5 and Year 6 teachers to ensure that the visual arts curriculum is fully mapped over all the terms, not just Term 1. This should also be completed with other year groups across the school to ensure that art is seen as a valuable and important part of the curriculum and that there is a breadth and balance to what is studied across the whole school. Year 6 teachers felt that after the residential art trip with an established artist, that they would in fact be able to run the trip themselves in following years, showing an increase in their confidence in delivering art. This is something that should be encouraged further and followed up on next year. Cotter states the final 2 steps of transforming an organisation are consolidating improvements and producing still more change, and institutionalising new approaches. This is what we now need to focus on if this change project is to have a long-lasting impact at our school.